Do you love your country? Do you think that America is the best freaking country in the whole world? Do you wave your flag, wave it high and wide? And aren't those dirty foreigners everything that's wrong in this world? Oh good, for a second, I was worried that you were a bunch of nationalists. This is the Deadly Isms, and I'm gonna prove to you that you can love your country without hating everybody else's. Let's talk about nationalism. Before we get started, let's make one thing clear. Patriotism is not nationalism. There's absolutely nothing wrong with celebrating where you come from and being proud of it. The 4th of July and the Star-Spangled Banner are all important nods to our history and the uniquely American experiment that has led us boldly and brightly to where we are today. And whatever country you come from, there are no doubt good reasons to be proud of it and your cultural heritage. But nationalism is something very different, going far beyond simple pride in where you come from. Nationalism is the idea that the collective view of the nation comes first, and the people who make up the nation come second. It's also the view that nations are in constant competition with each other, and that the only way to remain strong is to beat everyone else at some kind of political or economic game. These ideas betray a misunderstanding of how basic economics works. More important, they have caused immense human suffering over the years. Most people think that the political left only cares about the collective, while those on the right care about individuals. Socialism and communism claim millions of lives in practice because government put abstract entities like the party over the needs of actual people. Instead of lumping people together by class, race, or gender, the nationalist right created silos based on location and ethnicity. As Ludwig von Mises puts it, socialism divides people horizontally by class. Nationalism divides society vertically by nation. Both of these ideologies prioritize the collective over the individual and division over unity. Fascism is often considered a right-wing movement. Germany and Italy's fascist movements elevated the abstract idea of national greatness above the needs and rights of individual people, and the result was bloody and oppressive beyond belief. In fact, Hitler got into power by explicitly campaigning on a platform of restoring Germany's glorious past after the country was brought to ruin in World War I. It was by appealing to nationalist sentiment, as well as the demonization of foreign influences, such as Jews and Romani immigrants, that he managed to carry out one of the largest mass murders in history. The problem with ideologies like nationalism is that they create a false god. By elevating the nation above the needs of the people who live and work there, nationalists are able to impose horrible policies. In Turkey, nationalist President Recep Erdogan routinely imprisons journalists for working against the state.
Most of those you say are in prison aren't journalists. Most of them are terrorists.
Likewise, Rodrigo Duterte, president of the Philippines, has used nationalist rhetoric to justify imprisoning the opposition.
I will kill you if you destroy my country.
By raising the specter of drug use to an existential national threat, Duterte has given police free rein to trample on the rights of suspected drug users.
I voluntarily surrender to the police and government authorities that I am an illegal illegal drug
The war on drugs is so extreme that the government looks the other way on police murdering suspects. Cherished American values like due process and the presumption of innocence have been sacrificed to the greater good. Another problem with putting the nation first is that, as Ayn Rand pointed out, the nation doesn't really exist independent of the people who make it up. In other words, there's no such thing as the interests of America as distinct from the interests of Americans. This was the thought that guided America's founders as they drafted the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. The nation exists to serve the people, not the other way around. The point of a nation conceived in liberty is fundamentally individualist, to protect life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In 1984, George Orwell's classic critique of totalitarianism, the citizens are kept in line by appealing to the hatred and fear of imaginary foreign enemies, enemies with whom they have allegedly always been at war. It's a perfect example of the scapegoat principle, one of the most popular techniques of bad government. A nationalist leader doesn't have to take responsibility for his country's problems. When bad monetary policy led to a collapse of the currency, Turkey's Erdogan blamed the problem on a conspiracy of foreign governments, including the Jewish state. Whether there's no food to eat, no jobs to be had, or no end in sight to a devastating war, there's always a foreign menace to blame. And the answer to a foreign menace is always more government. Of course, more often than not, the threat doesn't really exist, or else it's exaggerated all out of proportion as a means of retaining power. This is where nationalism turns really ugly. Not only does it disguise the effects of bad policy or inept leadership, it creates hatred and division where none need exist. It turns people against each other, who not only shouldn't be fighting, but who should be actively cooperating to make life better for everyone. One of the biggest misconceptions about economics is the idea that every transaction has a winner and a loser. You hear it every day from politicians and pundits. America is in danger of being beaten by other countries because their prices are too low, their workers are too cheap, and their factories are faster than ours.
When was the last time you saw, as an example, this country beat China in a trade deal? Doesn't happen.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Whenever two people voluntarily make a deal, both parties end up better off. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. If other countries want to sell us a better product at a lower price, we should rejoice. Not only do Americans end up with better goods in their homes, but also with more money in their pockets to spend on other things. We don't lose from foreign trade, we gain from it. We may not realize it, but foreign trade is essential to every aspect of our life. Your computer, your iPhone, even the American-made car you drive probably wouldn't exist without foreign parts. You sure wouldn't be able to afford them. Meanwhile, foreign companies like BMW operate assembly plants near Detroit, creating thousands of American jobs. That wouldn't be possible without the freedom to trade. Taking away that freedom doesn't make us stronger. It just gives us fewer options. In Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro closed his borders to trade, with the result that the country quickly ran out of food, beer, and other necessities. That's right, they ran out of beer. Not exactly a recipe for national greatness. And look over here, for half a century, the US government maintained an embargo with Cuba, making it illegal to trade with that communist country. The goal of the embargo was certainly not to make Cuba stronger. It was understood that without access to foreign goods, people suffer. It's a lot like claiming that we can improve Alaska by banning imported oranges from Florida. It just doesn't add up. So, nationalism turns good people against each other. It distracts from ineffective or corrupt government, and it impoverishes people by telling them where and how they must spend their money. The nationalist agenda not only hurts individual citizens as their rights are trampled in the quest for some illusory national interest, but it weakens the nation as a whole. This is the very opposite of what nationalists claim to want. Here in America, when politicians promise to put America first, maybe they're putting America last. Here's an idea. How about we treat people as people, regardless of where they come from or what they look like? And while we're doing that, if you want to wave that flag, wave it wide and high, I'll wave mine right along with you.